Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jocelyn, and for today's topic, I am going to provide you the no interview waiver for certain non-immigrant visas for the year 2024. There is an important announcement from the U.S. Department of State regarding the no interview waiver or no interview for certain non-immigrant visas. Certain classifications of non-immigrant visas are in the national interest. So what are these classification of non-immigrant visas that are entitled to no interview? Please take note that changes based on that determination are implemented by consular officers. So please take note that consular officers at U.S. embassies abroad have the authority and discretion. So that means that they have the discretionary authority to waive the in-person interview. And these are the classifications of non-immigrant visas. If you are a first-time applicant of H-2 visas, agricultural or non-agricultural, you can avail of the no interview waiver. And also other classifications of non-immigrant visas who were previously issued a non-immigrant visa in any classification unless the only prior issued visa was a B visa and are applying within 48 months of their most recent non-immigrant visa's expiration date. So there are actually criteria when applying for this no interview waiver. So that means your non-immigrant visa must be in the same classification. So if you are renewing for a non-immigrant visa, it must be the same type of visa unless the prior visa is considered as a B visa. So what is a B visa? There are two classifications, B1 or B2 visas. The other criteria is that you are applying within 48 months of their most recent non-immigrant visa's expiration. Is the summary. If you are a first-time applicant of an H-2 visa, whether agricultural or non-agricultural, you can avail of the no interview waiver. Now, other than H-2 visa, if you are renewing your non-immigrant visa in the same classification, and unless it is a B2 visa, so meaning to say, for B2 visas, if you are renewing your non-immigrant B1 or B2 visa, you are not automatically entitled for a no interview waiver. So that means if you are a holder of a B1 or B2 visa, you are not automatically entitled for a no interview waiver. So that means you will have to schedule an interview. So if you are renewing your non-immigrant visa other than the B1 or B2 visa, meaning to say other classifications of visas such as J or M visa or other non-immigrant visas, you must comply with the legal requirements. So these are the changes that are being implemented starting January 1st of 2024. So you must comply with these legal requirements. The Department of State announced that this implementation is effective January 1 of 2024 until further notice. The Department of State has announced that applicants renewing a non-immigrant visa in the same classification within 48 months of the prior visa's expiration date continue to be eligible for the interview waiver until further notice. However, there are legal requirements. Here are the criteria. First, you must apply in your country of nationality or residence. The second criteria is that you have never been refused a visa unless such refusal has been overcome or waived. And the third criteria or eligibility is that you have no apparent potential ineligibility, meaning to say you are qualified and you don't have the disqualifications for this visa. For all of you who are renewing your U.S. tourist visa, whether B1 or B2 visa, you are not automatically entitled for a no interview. So that means you must schedule your interview. Now, when do you need to renew your non-immigrant visa if you are eligible under this recent announcement from the Department of State? Within 48 months of their most recent non-immigrant visa's expiration date. Now, let's talk about the visa appointment wait time. So I'm referring to the non-immigrant visas when interviews may be available to you. Here's the latest from the Department of State. You can find the visa appointment wait times by searching the city of the U.S. Embassy. For example, for interview required FMJ visas, 21 calendar days. For other non-immigrant visas, HLOPQ, 14 calendar days. And for first-time applicants of B1, B2, the appointment wait time is 52 calendar days. If you wanted to avail of an expedited interview appointment, you must first book a regular appointment. Also, there are only specific reasons when you may be granted an expedited appointment for your interview. Let's talk about the U.S. tourist visa or B1 or B2 tourist visa. For B1, you must attend a scientific, educational, professional, or business convention, negotiate a contract, settle an estate, or consult with business associates. What are the activities covered by B2 visa? Tourist B2 for vacation, visit with friends, medical treatment, tourism, participation in social events, or participation in other similar events. Also, enrollment in a short-term recreational course of study and not for credit. However, there are activities that are prohibited when applying for a tourist visa. For example, if you have the intention of working in the U.S., you will be denied a tourist visa. There are things you cannot do on a visitor visa. You cannot study or be employed or have paid performances or arrive as a crew member or work as a foreign press or stay in the U.S. permanently. Additional evidence will be needed to establish your purpose of your trip in the U.S. You must show the following as evidence. First, you must show the purpose of your trip if you're attending a conference or visiting family or friends. Second, you must show your intent to depart the U.S. after your trip or your ability to pay all costs of the trip. Evidence of your employment or family ties may be sufficient to show the purpose of your trip and intent to return, but if you cannot cover the cost of your trip, you may show evidence that another person will financially shoulder your trip. Let's talk about interviews. Generally, all visa applicants must apply for an interview. However, depending on your age, the consular officer may require you not to undergo an interview. If you are applying for a U.S. tourist visa but unable to financially support yourself during your visit to the U.S., you can have a family member or a friend support you during this time of your travel. However, that person must have a declaration of support. This declaration of support is not a factor in granting you a U.S. tourist visa. You must still prove that you are eligible or entitled to get or obtain this U.S. tourist visa. What are the requirements in obtaining a U.S. tourist visa? The first step is that you must complete the online visa application form DS-160 and print the application form confirmation page to bring to your interview. Step 2 is to pay the visa fees. Also, the fee is non-refundable. Step 3 is to schedule an interview. However, there are exceptions to the interview requirement. For ages 13 and younger, generally, interview is not required Also for 80 and older. For 14 and 79, interview will be required. Step 4 is to prepare for your interview. A consular officer will interview you to determine whether you are qualified to receive a visitor visa, so you must establish that you meet the requirements under the U.S. law. Also, please take note that the consular officer may determine that your application requires further administrative processing. If you have any other questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Again, thank you guys for supporting my channel. And if you haven't liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.